Okay. All right. Okay, great. Nice to see all of you here. All right. So the reason why I decided to make this a public live stream rather than just a stock market genius only live stream is because I just realized, okay, that next week actually I will not be doing my public live stream because it is Lunar New Year. Okay, and for those of you who are celebrating, all right, happy Lunar New Year, 新年快乐, 恭喜发财. Okay, so I want to bring it forward and also as a little gift, in spirit of the festive season, right? To add value to everybody's investment portfolio. Okay. All right. So since we last had our public session last year, okay, the SMG guys has been seeing me almost once a week, huh? Okay. But for the rest of you, the last time I saw you guys was actually last year. Okay. And a lot has changed. A lot has changed, right? We have a new US president. The moment he came in, he was fast and furious, right? He was signing executive orders all over the place. I think he signed almost 100 or more executive orders, if I'm not wrong. Okay. All right. So later we'll discuss one of the executive orders that he mentioned, and let's see if there's any opportunity for us over there. Okay. So before we begin, as usual, guys, do turn on your camera. I would love to see your faces, right? So that it keeps me engaged during this session. The more engaged I am, the more I can share with you guys. Okay. Now let me say hi to some of you here. Okay. Hi, John. Hi, Celine. Isabella. Hello. Geraldine as well. Hello, hello. Hui Tech as well. Hi, Michael. Hello. All right. Okay. So everyone here, once again, welcome to the Stock Market Genius live stream. Okay. I think some of you just joined us. Now, maybe before we start, let's just do a very quick poll. How is your portfolio doing for 2025? The first month of 2025, right? Is it up? If you are comfortable to share, can you share? Is it up by how many percent? Or if it's down, right? Okay. Maybe don't need to share how many percent you are down, but share maybe one of the reasons why is it down. Okay. Now, as a good investor, right, you need to not just celebrate the wins, but as your portfolio is not doing well, right, you must understand, hey, where did it go wrong? Okay, where did it go wrong? Because it is very important to learn those lessons, especially, we learn the most through our what? Success or mistakes. Guys, we learn the most through our success or mistakes. Okay, those of you who are parents, you will start to know this very well, right? Okay, we are learning through our mistakes most of the time, right? Success most of the time is actually overlooked, right? So I would love to engage all of you, right, and also encourage you to review your portfolio, regardless whether you're making money or you're losing money, right? Reflect and review your portfolio. That's very important. Okay. All right. Let's have a look. So TAN is up 2%. That's fantastic. So TAN is about S&P 500, right? S&P 500 is around 2%. Okay. Let me just bring up the slide, then we can have a look together. Okay. Yeah, so year to date, okay, let's see. Year to date, okay, S&P 500 is up about 3% year to date. Okay, let me just show you guys the chart over here. All right, so S&P 500 up 3%. You can see at the top right hand corner, it says 3.1%. Okay, how about the rest of you? Okay, so everybody else, do type in your performance. Okay, don't be shy. If you make a lot of money, do share your success. Okay, I have a lot of students who actually send me email separately, especially those of you in Stock Market Genius, right? You guys actually send me email, very encouraging email about how well you did at the start of the year, which is great. Okay, I've talked about this last year as we ended 2024 that those bears are just chiming along, but they're just trying to get eyeballs, right? Get your attention. But really, the market doesn't really show any weakness at this point in time, right? Okay, Geraldine is up 12%. Wow, fantastic. John is up 13. Grace is up 11. Wow. Hey guys, you all are outstanding. You all are like double, tripling the market area. Okay, and I hope that it's because of the things that we talk about in the stock market genius community. Okay. Irene say overall up. That's fantastic. Okay. SM is up 5%. Hanbao is up 7%. Celine is up 4.1. That's great. Okay. Adeline is up 5. Irene is up 4.45. Okay. So guys, fantastic. Wow, Hui is up 14% already this year to date. First month. Fantastic. Wow, actually, a lot of you outbeat me. I think I did about 11% only. Wow, you are fantastic. Okay. Hey, but that's the good thing, because as a coach, as a teacher, as a mentor, I always judge myself not by my own success, but by my student success. Okay, so I'm super happy to see all of you doing so well. And indeed, right, this year we start off with a very good year. Year to date, S&P 500 up 3.1%. And if you look at a 1 year basis, okay, S&P 500 is up 25%. Okay, right. So while all of us are pretty much market beating in the first month, let's remain humble. Let's continue the good work. All right, don't get too carried away, right, in terms of our own success. Right, the most important thing is not to compare the 1 month results. It's also not to compare the 1 year results, but is to compare in the longer term. Right, are we beating the S&P 500? Right, because that is the true benchmark. Right, I always encourage all of you to not look at 1 year return, 2 years return, but a longer term return. Because when you are investing, right, you're not looking for, oh, one time I make 50% and then never happen again. Okay, right? When you're investing, you're looking at year on year returns on a longer term basis, 5 year basis, 10 year basis. And of course, the goal here is to be higher than this line, right? Whatever is higher than this S&P 500, that means you have done well. You must have done something to create alpha, right? We say alpha is when you are outbeating the market over here. Okay? All right. So, guys, for those of you who come on to today's live stream, right, I'm sure you are either from Telegram or Facebook, right, or Instagram. Now, can you type in the chat, right? Okay, we're going to discuss many things today. What is that one thing? What is the one thing that caught your attention? That you say, hey, Pete mentioned this in the description of today's Zoom, and therefore I'm very keen, very interested to find out. Right? I just want to know like what makes your tick, so that next time when I do live stream, right, okay, then I will talk more about such things, okay? All right. So Cynthia says Stargate. Okay, so for those of you who don't know Stargate is the AI project, right, that Donald Trump talked about. Okay, right. What else? What else? Okay, I'm just gonna write down so that next round I can cater to you guys. Wow, all of you, Stargate, AI. Okay. Sven is saying, me coming online to chat with all of you. Wow, fantastic. Y'all like talk to me. Okay. Geraldine say, how to identify high quality stocks? Okay. Panel is interested in learning more about the community. Fantastic. Okay. HL only have one simple reason, my top list. Okay. So later we talk about that as well. Okay. So before we go into that, right, I just want to start off the session. Okay. Talking about the market updates first, right? Very quickly, what do we see in the market? What is happening? All right. So go into the market update is very important. In fact, I always say before you look into individual stocks, right? Investing in individual positions, or you are thinking about, hey, should I do a call option, put option? Later we'll go more into options, by the way. Okay. I receive a lot of requests to discuss more about option strategy, right? So that I'll do that later. But really, before you do everything, right, look at the broader market first. Okay, because if the broader market, okay, doesn't do well, right? So the broader market is kind of like the ocean. Okay, this is like the navy analogy, the ocean. Okay, so this is the ocean. The individual stocks that we are looking at, right? Okay, are the ships. So if you're is this a ship? Okay, okay. So if you're looking at the individual stocks or even sectors like what John is saying, right? But the overall market is just coming down. Then guess what? You're not going to escape one. Okay? You're not going to escape. Just think back into 2022, right? When the whole market was coming down, regardless whether you're in tech, right? Or you are in energy or whatever sector, right? You're just coming down. Everything is just dropping. Okay? Right? Oh, Vincent very mean. Vincent said Air Force people cannot draw ships. It's true. I don't know how to draw aeroplane. Okay, I draw aeroplane. See aeroplane. Okay. All right. So really, the energy is rising tide floats all boats, right? But the converse or the other way is similar, right? Lowering tide will bring down all boats as well. Okay. So look at the market before you even think about, hey, I want to buy certain stocks. I want to do certain strategy. Okay. So now come back to S&P 500. We talked about this earlier on. Right now, as the market, guys, just humor me, just humor me, okay? Just humor me. What do you see? What do you see in the market? Is it what trend is this? What's the trend? Are we on a downtrend? Right? Clearly not, clearly not. Okay, we are definitely on an uptrend. In fact, if anything, since 2023, I would say mid 2023 to June period, right? The moving averages you can see here, there's green line, orange line, purple line, and red line. They has been like separating, right? This is what we call the crocodile uptrend. That means the mouth is like opening up like a crocodile mouth like that. right? And this is generally a very, very healthy pattern towards longer term trends, right? Now, of course, will this trend eventually reverse? Yes, it will, right? Just like what we saw in 2022, where we had a very prolonged, right, almost 1 year downtrend, okay? Or in fact, if you look further back, right, have we had such things before? Yes, right? And it's on a smaller scheme, okay? So the the trend will not last forever, but as of now, it is not clear to me that we are seeing a dip in trend. Why? Because number one, all the prices has been clearing above the 20 moving average. Okay, we are not seeing any breaking down of trends as of the moment, right? Maybe 2 months later, it will start to collapse. Nobody knows, right? Just like 2022 when we first saw it, right? You can see over here. Okay, first 2022, there was nothing. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit. Okay, there was nothing too detrimental, okay, until we start to see the price collapse below, right? So this will be like a real sign towards the trend dropping, right? So I always got question from the stock market genius community, hey Pete, when's the market collapsing? When's the market collapsing? And I say, I don't know, right? The thing is, I know it will eventually collapse, but I don't know when it will collapse. But every collapse, every drop in market comes with a sign. And usually a sign is in the breakdown of the prices. Okay. So what you can see here for 2022 is what I call breakdown of the prices. And this is usually accompanied by a few things, right? Number one is that you will see the overall indicators are all dropping simultaneously, right? And very importantly, net position. Okay, so net position is a new TA that I've been testing for about 9 months to 10 months. And I find that finally, it's worth the while to include it into my repertoire. Wow, very complicated word, repertoire. Okay, in my portfolio of technical analysis. Okay, so right now I have like one, two, three, four, five technical analysis. So I think that's enough, right? I won't advocate adding even more than this because it's just going to confuse you, right? Make you even slower to react, right? More analyze until paralyzed kind of situation, right? But you can see there will be a breakdown of net position. Okay, so very quickly, what is net position? Net position is basically the interest, right, in the market, whereby the bankers versus the retails, right? So you can see there was a very, very clear breakdown. But before that, if the market is heading upwards nicely, right, you can see it's a very full bar, very, very full. Okay, so where are we today? Where are we today, right? So if you look here, wow, we are super full, right? The bankers are very, very, very bullish, right? They are not retreating yet. Most of the time, the bankers, the institutions, right? When I say banker, I don't mean your relationship managers, okay? I mean your big banks like your Jamie Dimon, right? Your Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, right? And they are still very bullish about the market. Okay. And today I just had a call with one of my investors in my portfolio management side, right? At Truffle Portfolio, right? And she was asking me, hey Pete, um, usually when the market starts coming down, right? Why would the retail be sucked in first? Or why would the bankers react first? Then the retail get reacted later. And I say it's very simple. The simplest reason is actually the collapse is actually not caused by the retail guys. It's actually caused by the bank, right? It's actually caused by the bank. The bank provides the liquidity. So when they start exiting, what happens? It's like the ocean energy again. When they start exiting, then your tide starts to drop, right? Water is like money, right? In Chinese, we call 水是财 It will start to fall. As the tide starts to retreat, then guess what? All the boats will just come down together. Okay, so right now we don't see that trend at all, and we don't have very massive MACD, right? So this is all technical analysis stuff, right? Which I teach in Stock Market Genius, right? So for those of you who are on the Stock Market Genius community, do know that you actually have a course, right? That you can where is it? Oh, where is it? Okay, let me go and find it later. Okay, that you can go and take a look, right? To go into more in depth what exactly all these TA is. Okay, so broader trend, S&P 500 very healthy. I don't think there's anything wrong. A slight pullback like this, it is more than expected, right? We don't expect the market to go on a parabolic exponential run, right? In fact, this is scary. This is unhealthy. If this happen, then you'll be sure that I'll be like one of the first few to start running. Okay, start running for the woods. Okay, now let's go into Nasdaq. Okay, Nasdaq yesterday did fantastic, 1.3%, right? And you can see it's a very similar situation in Nasdaq, right? Very, very healthy uptrend. Net position is very full, right? All these are quite healthy. So overall trend still good. I don't see a breakdown in trend as of yet. And so far, I think Donald Trump has been doing a pretty good job, right? Pretty good for all of us in the stock market. Okay, right. Okay. By the way, if you have questions, just put the questions down. If I have the opportunity, I'll answer them. If not, later on, I'll factor in some Q&A timing. Okay. Cynthia is asking why net position instead of smart money. Technically, net position is very similar to smart money, right? So it's just that when I tested both, I find net position a bit more reliable when I look at it. Okay. So actually, TA, right, guys, to be very, very frank, there is no secret formula or like holy grail one, right? There is no one formula that fits everybody. It is just what you can understand and what you can catch. And for me, I try to simplify it as much as possible. I don't want an indicator that's too difficult, right? So overall, I find that these few indicators is good enough for me, right? I can know the midterm trend, shorter term trend, longer term trend, support from the bankers, good enough, right? Those are what I need. Okay. So broad market is like this. Let's look at a few more things. For example, IWM, right? This is the Russell 2000s. Now you can see that the market is also recovering not just in your S&P, not just in your Magnificent Seven, but actually you look at the Russell 2000, which are all the smaller caps, right? They are also doing quite well. Okay. So I would say this is really a rising tide float all boat situation. Everything is improving, right? If only the Magnificent Seven is going up, and everything else is just staying put and not moving, wow, then that is truly scary. Okay, that is not welcome. Okay. Now, one thing that is also confirming the uptrend for me, right, is this. Okay, so this is TLT. TLT is the 20-year Treasury bonds, right? So, for those of you who are new to bonds, very simple. If the market is very, very topish already, and impending doom is coming, usually what we will see is that the bond prices, right, will have a sudden reversal. For example, from here, 2021, 2022, right? While the bond prices raise upwards, okay? Right? Before the crash, before the crash. So when we see something like this, then that is a very clear sign to us, hey, hello, hello, take a pause, right? Something is wrong. Why? Because when the bond prices are flying upwards, that means what? The institution, the banks are going that direction, right? And usually when they buy bonds, when they buy treasuries, it's because they feel safe or they feel very bullish. They want to take more risks or they feel like, hey, I want to take some risk off already. Right? It's because they feel that something is wrong, right? They want to risk off. Exactly. They want to run for the woods already, right? I don't want to play anymore. So right now, what we see in the market is that ever since the market has been climbing up after the dip in 2022, actually the prices has been going down, 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 down. Even after the Fed cut the rates, the prices of the bonds did not go up. That tells you how bullish the institutions are. Okay. So this is a very, very broad stroke on what is happening. Okay. Now, let me just share a few more indicators. Now, those of you who are in stock market genius, you will know that on top of, talking about, market trends and everything, I also look a lot at this thing called sentiment, right? Sentiment. I'm very much a sentiment investor. That means I just follow Warren Buffett, what Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger says, right? When the market is greedy, you should be fearful. But when the market is fearful, you should be greedy, right? Okay, and in fact, Warren Buffett has another saying, right? When the sky is pouring and raining, you don't take out a small bucket to collect the raindrops. You bring out the bathtub. Okay, so same, right? Right now, when you look at the fear and greed indicator, this is something that provided by CNN, right? Okay, so it's a 7 fear and greed indicator combined together. You can read more details at the bottom, okay, which tells you a summation of all these, right? Basically telling you, hey, right now the market is greedy or fearful, okay, and in fact the interesting thing is this. Even though technically the market has been heading upwards, guys, can you tell me compared to 1 week ago, maybe I make it bigger, and 1 month ago, are we more fearful now or are we less fearful? Are we more fearful or are we less fearful? Type in the chat. Huh? Y'all say less, Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, sorry. Compared to 1 month and 1 week, we are definitely less fearful. Okay? Right? The number goes down means very fearful. But now, we're at 44 fear, no? Just about a year ago, we are at 70 grid. That means it was here, right? This direction. Okay. So very simple. You go back to S&P 500. Okay. We look at 1 year ago, okay, where are we 1 year ago? All right, so now we are January 2025, right? So guys, we are we are fearful still when the market is going up. Okay, so this gives me a lot of comfort because I know that right now the market is not greedy yet. If the market is super greedy, then I'll be very fearful. Okay. Another way to confirm this is another website, right? You can find this at what we call aaii.com. Okay. I talk about this multiple times. This is the American Association of Individual Investors. So they poll all their members, I think about 1,000 plus of them, right? And you can see right now, slightly different view, right? AI is showing us one thing is that, hey, the bullishness starts to increase. Right? Wow, starts to increase already. Okay, and the bearishness has dropped. Okay, which is why those of you who are in my Telegram, okay, those of you who are not in my Telegram, do join the Telegram because that will be the best way, right, for me to get in touch with all of you guys. Okay, but if you look at the Telegram post, I previously mentioned that, hey, when the market is moving quite fast, do think about taking profits. Okay, let me just find the post here. Where is it? Yeah. Okay. So do think about taking profits here because if you don't take the profits, right, then then if the profit run away, okay, then that's it. Nobody ever lose money from taking profit. Okay. So what I will say is this very simple, right? In the longer term, when we look at the trends and everything, I'm still very bullish. But in the short term, I'm not averse to taking a bit of profit because hey, it has been quite topish already. Right? But it doesn't mean that you exit all the way. Because the truth is this, nobody knows when exactly the bear market will come. Because if people know the bear market is going to be here, right, then everyone will exit, what? Okay. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, the market will crash. Right? So right now for short-term trades, I would say, it is fine if you're getting like a few K for per trade already, right? Some of the trades that we've done is about 11K in profit already. Then please go ahead and take profit. Okay? Go ahead and take some profit over there. Right? Okay, questions. Okay. Tin is asking, the Telegram is muted. We can't discuss on my post. Okay, very good. There's two reasons for it. Number one, okay, so guys, the rest of you can type in the chat, right? Number one reason why I don't allow chatting in my chat. Why? I tried to allow it, but wow, it was just damn tough. It was just damn tough. Okay. What's the main reason? Yeah, there was a lot of scammers, right? A lot of people will put scam posts and things like that. And it was just horrible, lah. Right? It was just horrible. So I didn't want that to happen. Yes, right. Kester is saying a lot of other P starts appearing, right? And people do get, scam, right? So I want to protect all of you guys as much as I can. So that is one of the main reasons. But what is the second reason? What's the second reason? It's because when people are discussing, right, sometimes they talk about things with no context or they give wrong suggestions, wrong advice, and I don't want that to happen, right? So it's kind of like the blind leading the blind, right? The three blind mice lead the three blind mice. Wow, even more confusing. Okay, so yes, like what Roslyn is saying, sometimes muted is good enough. Less noise, less information, better, right? Whatever I find is useful, I think is good enough, I'll just send it to the chat. If not, I won't send it to the chat. Okay. All right. Okay. HW say join SMG can discuss. Yeah. So there's a community forum in SMG, right, for a bit of discussion. But honestly, I also don't encourage too much like reactionary knee-jerk discussion, right? So when people ask me questions, I'll reply usually about technical questions, but we try to avoid like speculating the market news, all this, because it is just not very, very helpful, right? Okay. So that is the main reason. Okay, so this is the broad market trend. I think it's very good. The only thing is a bond is confirming the trend for longer term trend. So I love it. I would love to see and patiently wait. See this little uptick in the bond price, right? Would it change anything? If this really becomes like a proper, uptrend increase, then the price will then I will take a different view of it. Okay, and you can also look at VIX. VIX is another indicator that I personally use. Okay, VIX, right? You can see the VIX is very, very calm, right? VIX is the volatility, right? VIX is the volatility. So when vol is low, that means the market is really calm over here. Okay, all right, fantastic. Okay, so for those of you who are not in the Telegram chat, I'm just going to post the link over here. All right, so you can join the Telegram. All right, this is where I post all my updates, right? SMG updates or public updates, everything I put there, right? So that you can benefit from both sides. Okay. All right, fantastic. Okay, so this is the market update. Any questions? Any questions about market update? Usually I focus on the charts more than the public news, right? To be very honest. Okay, so you notice I never talk about whether Donald Trump is going to make the market, because the truth is, that it has not been proven whether is it under a certain trend, something will happen, or certain Republican or whatnot, something will happen. Okay, all right. Okay, Yan is like, can you show where to access the community chat? Okay. Let me go to the. Okay, bear with me. Okay, great. All right. So this is the SMG platform. Once you are in here, okay, right, you see there's a lot of lessons. Our lessons are all here. Left panel, yes, like what PS say. Left panel here under course curriculum, you can see there's a community tab. Okay, so you click on this, then this will bring you to the forum to discuss. Okay, just now I talk about how to do set up your technical analysis. Everything actually is here, right? So you can click on inside here, then you can watch the video where I talk about the technical analysis that I use over here at SMG. So it's easier for you to follow. Okay, all right, great. Okay, so with that done, let me go into tonight's discussion. Firstly, I want to talk about the AI and the AI trend in general, right? Because Donald Trump has made a very, very big announcement, okay? And it was done in collaboration with OpenAI, right? This is the OpenAI post, and it talk about Project Stargate or Stargate project, right? Okay, so it is going to be a new company, all right? I don't know the structure of this company. Is it going to be like TSMC when it's 50% government owned or whatnot, right? I'm not sure, right? But basically, they say they're going to invest over 500 billion in very quick time over the next 4 years. That means they are going to invest over 100 B in 1 year. No? Every year, about 125 B if they talk about 500 B, right? Divided by 4. So it is quite massive, right? So under this, we have a lot of partners such as SoftBank, OpenAI, Microsoft, right? Oracle coming in, right? The guys who were standing behind Donald Trump was basically Masayoshi Son from SoftBank, Sam Altman from OpenAI, and also the Oracle CEO. What's his name? I can't remember. Okay, the what's his Larry Ellison. Yeah. Okay, right. So they're gonna do this, and guess what? This was announced by Donald Trump. And guess what happened? One of Donald Trump's most famous partners right now, Elon Musk, come in and chime in and say, whoa, they don't actually have the money, all right? So there was a bit of a conflict inside the OpenAI and versus the current administration and also including Elon Musk, right? But the thing is this, I don't really care, right? I'm not a politician. I don't really care about this. But what I know is that even if they don't do 500 billion, they just do maybe 300 billion. That means there's going to be 300 billion worth of funds, liquidity, right? Flowing into this area of AI infrastructure. Okay? Right? And that's what I want to talk about tonight. And that's why I think the next bound of opportunity might be. Okay. Now, what is this opportunity? It's very simple. It is the whole AI ecosystem, right? So you can see there are many different layers, right? There's compute layer, silicon layer, manufacturing, and then there's like power, materials, labor, edge devices, data centers. So all these are required, okay, to come in and provide support for AI development, right? So imagine 300, $500 billion float into all this. Okay, flow into all these companies. But the thing is, we cannot be investing in all these companies, right? So I'm going to talk about one of the companies that we have invested in before, and it's also a company that we have also mentioned in Stock Market Genius last year, right? And we mentioned it last year November, okay? And the company is this one, okay? Do you know what is this company? Just by the ticker symbol, you know what this company? You know what this company is? Yeah, Arista Network. Okay, ANET stands for Arista Network. Okay, Celine said something that's really true. Hey guys, if you all don't know which company to invest in and you have too lazy to do research, right? Okay, right. Then you're just okay with like maybe ETF level returns. Then the simplest way is to just buy into semiconductor ETF. I think I mentioned that in the Telegram. Okay, so that's something possible as well. But if you want to create a bit more alpha, which is what I'm all after, okay, I'm willing to put in the effort, right? And I hope you are willing to put in the effort as well, right? To look into companies, right? And to research to find out, hey, what is which are the top of this company? It is just like when people tell me, hey, Pete, I want to buy S&P 500. Sometimes I don't think it's a bad thing, but I say, hey, why not buy the S&P top 20? Because the truth is, have you heard of the article that they keep saying, right? That, oh, the most of the returns of the S&P 500, right, comes from where? Come from the top 10 or top 20 stocks, right? Okay. So the thing is, I say, hey, if you have this information already, the public news has been telling you that, then why do you want to invest in 500 companies, where 480 of them are way underperforming and then only the top 20 is performing, right? Then you might as well just buy the top 20 because I think the last article shows that the top 20 stocks of the S&P 500 is responsible for more than 96% of the return. Yeah, so you can just invest in 20 stocks, you capture 96% of the return of the whole S&P 500. Right? Isn't that better? Okay, so that is the overall approach that we have here for stock market genius. Okay, right. So let me just come back to here. Right. So this was Arista Networks. We talked about it last year in November, and yesterday, right, it went up by 6% because there was the news of the AI networks. Right. In fact, a lot of the semiconductor companies, right, all went up. Right. The obvious one is like your Nvidia, Microsoft, and so on and so forth. But to me, is those are so well covered, right, that you probably won't get any alpha there, right? You probably won't get any extraordinary profits there. But if you focus on the subsidiary, what do you call it? Auxiliary companies, the companies that support the system, okay, right? That's where I find a lot of value. Okay, so what is Arista Networks? Okay, so guys, can you all hazard a guess? Type in the chat, huh? If you know, don't say. Okay. If you don't know, can you guess what does Arista Network do that in the whole AI ecosystem that makes it so powerful? In fact, when the moment Sam Altman and Donald Trump announced the Stargate news, right? Wow, jump up by like almost 7%. What do you think Arista Network does? Okay. Hey guys, maybe I ask a simpler question. How many of you have never heard of Arista Networks before? Can you type in me? Have you have not heard of Arista Networks before? Type in me. Hmm. Okay, so guess. What does Arista Network do? First time hearing this company, right? What does Arista Network do? Actually, the name give you a clue already. Okay, the name gives you a clue. What does Arista Network do? Nobody want to try. Okay, so guys, I teach you all some very simple things. Just go and Google. Okay, just go and Google. For example, you come to websites like stockanalysis.com, right? Just click Arista Networks and go and take a read over here, right? So you can see it's developing, marketing, sales of data driven. So sometimes the things they write not very easy to understand. Okay, but this gives you a broad idea that are in the networking solutions, right? In the networking solution. So let's see what does Arista Network do, right? And I realized picture tells 1,000 words. Rather than me typing out the thing word for word, right? Okay, I show you a picture over here. Okay, so this is a AI generated picture, by the way. Okay, so this is something like a data center, right? So right now, if you're running an AI machine, you're running ChatGPT, right? It will have to go through a data center to process, right? Okay. When you say cloud computing, right, guys, do you actually believe that it exists in the cloud? No, it exists somewhere. Just that the processing power is not in your computer. It's in data centers like this. Okay. And what is inside all these, right, are basically all the GPUs that are produced by either Nvidia, AMD, and whatnot. But the thing is this, all these GPUs cannot function on its own. It needs to be linked up, it needs to be connected with switchboards and Ethernet, right? And all these has to be provided by a third party. And one of these very big third party is Arista Networks, right? So they provide the racking, right? The connection, all these are all switches, right? All these switches, this is also a switch, right? To connect all your GPUs together. Okay, right? So it's like the server, the person who make the server. All right. Now, if you look at Arista Networks, really interestingly, is that the revenue from either the Ethernet switchboard, right, be it in data centers or is it through the campus business, right, has been rising. And especially for data centers, can you see that it's rising very quickly? Okay. Now, if you look at the market share, right? This is something that they post very prominently in their investor relations tab, right? So they have been at a very tough competition with another service provider called Cisco. Okay. I'm sure you have heard of Cisco before, right? Okay. So back in 2012, right, I would say Cisco is like the dominating giant, over 78%. But since then, the shares, the market share of Cisco has been dropping and dropping. And last year, Arista Network officially overtook Cisco at 32% market share in terms of dollars, right? So they continue to gain market share, and there is a very good reason for it. Is because they provide better services and slightly better pricing, right? And actually, no, I take that back. Actually, their pricing is not better, but they provide much better services and much better value for their customers. They say for every dollar you pay us, we're going to do this, do this, right? So this is what I like to see, right? Dollar tells which is the market leader. And over here, Arista Network is really catching up very fast. All right. Now, in terms of financials, this is where it gets interesting. You would think that, wow, when you talk about AI, right, we'll say Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, AMD. But when you look at the auxiliary companies like Arista Networks, right, for example, you look at the gross margin, although this is technically a hardware business, okay, but guys, this hardware business is generating in excess of 60% of gross margin, in excess of 60% of gross margin. Can you imagine that? Right? It tells you how powerful this business truly is. Okay. And from that 60%, they can still generate about 40% of operating margin. This is the type of margin that you will likely only see in software businesses, but not so much of hardware business. Okay. So I love this a lot. And that tells you one thing. When they have such high gross margin, right, it tells you one thing is that every new customer that comes to them, right, it is very likely more customer there is, the higher the gross margin. Why? Because they have a very good, what we call a unique cost. That means more customer comes to them. Actually, the cost of them absorbing the new customers, setting up new structure for them, right, is not that much more. A lot of all these things, actually, they manage to make it modular already, right? So imagine if they serve 10 customers, they have to build up this amount of cable, this amount of racks. But actually, if you give me another 10 customer, right, what they need to do is just order more cables and order more racks. It is not that much more expensive for them to bring on new customers. So this is what we call relatively fixed cost business, which I love because that means as they bring on more and more business, you can expect the profits to shoot up faster and faster, right? It is not like a standard one like Walmart like that, right? 3%, 3%, 3%, 3%, 3%. This one is definitely going to grow much faster than that. Okay. All right. So overall, why I like this business is firstly, despite being in the whole AI industry, right, it is already profitable. Right? The first 9 months of last year, they already did 2 billion in net income already. Okay. And on top of that, right, they are very prudent. I love the management. So management is very important to me, right? Because no matter how good the business is, it is only as good as the captain that's steering the ship, right? So over here, you notice that they say one thing, say we invest the cash balance, right, to earn interest income, right? So they never let a single dollar stand still. That's how powerful this business is. And that's how focused they are, right, in giving shareholder value. Okay. Another thing is that they are also looking out for M&A. Oh, wait, let me go back. They're also looking out for M&A, right? Plus, another thing I love a lot, for those of you in SMG, you will know, right, is that I love company that buy back their own shares, right? So they already plan to buy back another 300 million of their own shares when the prices are at a price that's accretive. That means they are not anyhow buying, right? Warren Buffett said this, when you're buying back share, you must make sure that it is a good price, right? Treat it as you are doing an investment. So I love that they also adopt the same mentality over here. Okay, right. Now, as we look deeper into the business, one of the few criteria I look at is what is the return on equity of the business. Okay, and you can see that the return on equity of this business is very high, it's at over 30+%. Now, to give you a broad understanding, usually, okay, guys, maybe you tell me, type it in the chat, right? What is usually considered good for return on equity, ROE? what is usually a good percentage that you will say, yeah, above this solid, right? Above this number, I think it's quite a good business already. Okay, so BK says 15 to 20%, Gerald says 20. How about the rest of you? Hey, everybody, chime in a number. Okay, chime in a number. Okay, so a lot of you say 20, Laheng says 12, PS says more than 10. So yeah, right? Generally, anything above 15, right? To me, 15%, right, is considered very good already. Anything above 20, is like, wow, this business is doing something right. Okay. And you can see that Arista Networks, their equity, return on equity, right, actually has been increasing since 2020, right? It actually was even higher before COVID, and then there was a dump during COVID, but after that, it has brought back up to 33% right now, right? So this is a business, every like $100 you put in, right, they are earning another 33, $34. That's a very, very strong business. Okay. All right. So right now, looking at the charts right over here, okay. So you can see that, it's kind of high. Okay. So let's run a test. So for all of you, okay, guys, everybody, right now looking at the chart here, right? Would you want to buy or don't buy Arista Networks? Okay. You want to buy, type yes. If you don't want to buy, type no. You want to buy or don't want to buy? Yes or no? Just type in yes or no. Okay. All right. So a lot of people say no, 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 right? Okay. All right. Anybody say yes or no? Hey, Kelvin say buy one share. Very good. Okay, so this is something that I mentioned in my last live stream for the SMG community. Right? I say sometimes when you are investing into a new business and you find that hey, it's a really good business, but you feel that the price is very high, right? Then my personal approach is that I'll just buy like a little bit, right? You can buy one share, or in fact, these days, you can buy fractional shares, you can buy half a share if you want. No one's going to stop you from doing that. So, yes, right, I love that idea. Just buy one share, get started. But I want to tell you all the truth. Okay, can I confess? Can I confess something? Okay. Actually, I tricked you all. Do you all realize? Can you all see that this price, right, is actually the wrong date? It's actually last year, November. Is when we talk about it in the stock market genius period. So today, where is Arista Networks? The Arista Networks price is right now 130. Maybe tonight a bit lower, I don't know. Okay. But I just now show you this price. Okay. So guys, I want to share with you a few things through this exercise. Is that when you find a really, really good business, okay. Last time in the past, I used to be like that as well, because I was in a environment whereby people always say, yeah, value investing, value investing, value investing. Now, it's not that value investing is dead. I'm not saying that, but I've realized more than often, sorry, my English is not very good. More often than not, is that if I'm too obsessed about valuation, I tend to miss out on the great runs, right? Because yes, this might at this point, to be very honest, right, when I go back to this chart, right, this is actually the all-time high, on par with here, all-time high, right? But if it's a great business, very often what I realize is that the business will actually grow into the valuation. Okay. So for me right now, my investing style has changed a little bit. Is that if I find a really good business, for example, like Arista Networks, it is essential for them to build out AI data centers, right? They need the server, they need the racks, they need the switches, they need the Ethernet. Then guess what? This business is never going to go out of fashion, right? And they are making 40 to even 60% margins. It's a fantastic business, right? So I don't want to be too stingy about it and say, oh, I must get it at undervalue, because if you always say I want to get it at undervalue, guess what? What if the price never comes back down? Right? For example, if the price is here and you say, hey, this is very high P, I want to buy when it come back here, but it never comes back here, then when are you going to start investing? Okay. So my personal approach now is very simple. If it's really a lot overvalued, like I think that the valuation is like maybe $60, but it's at $100, then yes, I will just buy like a little bit, right? Like one share, two share, just to start a position so that I can ease into the trade. But if it's something like, hey, back then when I calculated, I think the fair value is maybe at 100, I was buying at 110, so be it. I'll just start the position, right? Whatever percentage you want to do, 1%, 2%, but I'll just start accumulating. And do you realize as I start investing, it starts to drop, Okay. It makes it easier for me mentally, right, to also start buying. Okay. Right. So Geraldine says like Palantir. Exactly. It is exactly like companies like Palantir, right? Whereby you just cannot effectively or very accurately measure the valuation. Okay. All right. So this is something that I don't just want to share with you all what is a good AI business that I'm looking at, but also in terms of mindset. Investor mindset is very important. I always stress this at SMG, right? At Stock Market Genius, is that as an investor, your research is only half the results, right? The second half of your result, right, is purely determined by your mindset and how you handle your investment and trades. Okay. All right. So right now, I would say yes, Arista Network looks like it's very overextended. Maybe I'll just wait a little bit for it to come back down, maybe back to the 20 moving average, perhaps, right? To start investing. But honestly, do I expect it to come back all the way down to 80? I don't think so. Right? I honestly don't think so, unless it's a very, very massive crash. Okay. All right. Now, and when we invested last year, right, guess what? It was at a relatively high valuation, right? It was like 35 price to earnings, right? Price to book was 10, price to operating cash flow was 36, EBIT. Okay, I didn't show EBIT, but basically it's very high. But guess what? Now the valuation is even higher. Okay, so the thing is this, Arista Network is also a bit like Amazon of the days, right? Whereby the valuation, just keep on getting higher and higher and higher. Right? Now, will it eventually be too much overvalued? I think it will be, but as of now, it doesn't seem to be a stopping point for the prices. Okay, to stop the prices from going up. Okay, so this is a return network. That's why we talk about it. Last year in November. I'm definitely looking at it again. Right, I'm just waiting for it to come back down to a nice support level. Then we can enter a trade again. Now, as to whether you want to enter in terms of different strategies, right? Later we can discuss. But the important thing is this, and I want to stress this once again to my SMG members and also to everyone out here, right? Is that the strategy is not the most important thing. Okay, so SMG members, help me out here. What is the most important thing that I always emphasize in SMG? Very good. PS, right? Conviction, right? Is your conviction, right? Sneeko says sizing. Now, sizing is important indeed, but it is not the most important, in my opinion. Okay? Because the conviction is the most important. If your conviction is strong enough, you want to have a relatively big size, big position. Sure, right? If you're that confident, right? For example, a lot of us actually are like this, right? A lot of you are actually working in big companies, MNC, and I'm pretty sure most of your or majority of your net worth, right, due to the employee share option, right, is in the company share, right? But does it mean that it's more risky? Maybe not. Maybe you are working in a very good company and you know it very, very well, right? Look at all the CEOs. Their whole net worth, right, is probably tied to the company as well. But why do they stick on to it? Because they know the business very well and they have very, very high conviction. Okay? All right. Grace asked a great question. Arista network now is 120, 130. Why is Pete's sell put at 380? Okay, anybody knows the answer or not? Anyone knows the answer? Okay, so let's go to Arista network here. Let's have a look. So you can see, oh yeah, why my Wi-Fi so slow? Okay. Yes, okay, there was a stock split back in December, right? So Arista network went through a stock split, right? It's a 4:1 stock split in 4th December. So the price came down per se, right? But technically, does it make a difference in terms of the valuation, in terms of the company? No, not really. Okay. All right. So yeah, so come back to here. So the most important thing is your conviction, right? And that's why I always encourage everybody in SMG, right, to study the company as much as you can, right? In fact, when you want to invest more, right, I always say put in another few more hours of research, right? Because when you put a few more hours of research with a higher conviction, okay, your conviction go up, then if the share price were to come down, right, then your mindset will be better. You won't be thinking about, panic. I want to sell. I want to take out the risk. You will think of it as, wow, now the share price is so cheap. I want to add a bit more. Okay? All right. So Arista Network is one of the companies that I'm definitely looking at. Generally, what I would always suggest to people is that when the news is very obvious, like they say, AI, that means what? Nvidia. Everybody say Nvidia. Damn it. Guys, if everybody knows it's Nvidia, then the alpha there is not that big. Okay? right? So overall, okay, so this is a slide that maybe you want to take notes, write down. Okay, so these are some of the AI-enabled stocks, right? So the famous one, of course, will be your Microsoft, Meta, Google, Nvidia, right? Then the supporting auxiliary companies that's also very famous will include, for example, ASML, okay, and TSM, right? Okay, please go and read out on what these two companies does. They are super important for the semiconductor world, right? In fact, do you know that actually ASML and TSM, right, are the two only companies, right, that are over $1 trillion that are not from the US? Do you know that? It's quite amazing, These are the only $2 trillion company. Okay, I take that back, except for Saudi Aramco, lah. But let's don't count that, right? But these two companies are the only ones that are not in the US, $1 trillion company. Okay? Right. So these are the big ones. These are the big boys. I call them the BB, big boys. Okay. But how about the supporting actors? Okay. So these are the supporting actors. For example, ANET. Okay. Equinox, also one of the supporting actor. This is PWD, right? What is PWD full name? Let me go and check again. PWD is Quanta Services, right? So all these are, auxiliary services. Of course, Dell, right? And actually, Qualcomm is also a very big player in the industry as well. Okay, so these are some of the companies that you can consider go and look at. But once again, just by knowing the ticker symbol is not enough. Okay, so guys, do more research. For those of you in the stock market genius, we'll continue to do more research as well, right? So that we can find the best companies out there. Okay. All right, fantastic. Okay, guys, at this point, any questions? This is the AI portions already. Any questions about this? Or any questions about the strategy, the mindset stuff that I just mentioned? Yes or no? Okay, I take a drink first. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, yeah. So for Arista Network, why the share price was very different from when I sell put back then, right? Is because of the stock split. Okay. And do you realize after stock split actually become better, right? Easier for you to sell put, easier for you to buy call and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Yeah, Zena is like Dell question mark, right? Hey, do you know Dell is a very big player in the AI data center setup industry as well. They are very big. They are very big. Okay. All right. Let me see. Jesse is asking how long do you keep, okay, I think she meant how long do you keep the stocks? Okay, it depends. It depends. A good business, generally, I would say you can keep for at least a few years, right? Because good business just don't turn bad so quickly, right? I know Warren Buffett had this saying, like, "Oh, my holding period is forever." I kind of like that statement because it's very catchy, but it's kind of like not possible, right? You definitely need to sell one day. So I would say generally it's a few years. Why? Because if it deteriorates, right, then it will take a while to deteriorate. So actually, my true criteria is not a few years, right? My true criteria is when the business deteriorates, basically. Okay, so it's very important, right? Quarterly, just go and check on the results, and that's what I advocate, in SMG also, right? And sometimes the students say, "Hey, P, no time." Then okay, then I say very simple. You just go and look at the stock and spotlight. Okay, I do the research for you already. Okay, please go and read, take notice of the research, make full use of it. But please, one thing is this: don't just take the research and say, "Oh, this is a good business. Let me buy now." Other than reading and listening to the research, right, continue to do your own research because you can borrow the idea, but you cannot borrow the conviction. Oh, okay, right, okay. Let's see. Edmund asks, "What's your take on SMCI?" I think SMCI has a bit of issues previously regarding their financial statement in terms of the wordiness of the financial statement, right? So to me, that is quite challenging, right? So for now, I would say I don't have a very good take on SMCI. I would just rather invest in company that don't have all these baggages, right? Because to me, the financial statements are very important. It forms the basis, right? Just now, when I look at Arista Network, you see that I look at a lot of their earnings and everything. It forms the basis of my conviction, right? So imagine the numbers I'm looking at and I cannot trust numbers, right? Wow, then die or then how to have conviction, right? Okay. Um, okay, so Brenda is asking for synthetic. Okay, so for those of you who are new to this, synthetic is one of the option strategy that we use here in SMG. okay, has very close expiry date like June 2025. Okay, so maybe I'll address this later on how to handle synthetic. Okay, so Brenda, later if I didn't talk about this, please remind me. Okay, later I'll talk about this. Um, Okay, BW says AI needs computing power. How do you look at quantum computing? Now, the thing is, I feel that it's a different story, right? Actually, quantum computing is the thing that will empower even stronger AI, right? But right now, I would say quantum computing is just not ready yet. It's in a very nascent stage. The application of it is very, very low. I 100% agree with NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang's idea of like this is probably like 15 to 20 years away, right? At least, lah, at least that. Okay, right? Yeah. Okay. So Brenda asked about this K. Yes. So later I'll talk about synthetic decay. Why is it not important? Why is it not important in that case? Okay. Right. So Geraldine talked about ARM. Yes, ARM is also one of the provider. Right. So you can also look at it. ARM is also one of the major provider. Very similar to I would say TSM, right, or Nvidia in that point. Okay. Right. Okay. Celine's asking, Meta is at all-time high. Is it time to sell? Okay. Okay, let's take a look. Meta is at all-time high. PS know me very well. PS say all-time high is not a reason to sell. Exactly, right? Just now I talked about Arista Network, right? All-time high is not a reason not to buy. It also means it's not a reason to sell. Okay. Right? Because if you look at it, right, Meta has been at all-time high for a lot of times already, right? Right? All-time high, all-time high, all-time high. Then now maybe all-time high again. Okay, so no, I don't see a good reason to sell Meta. Very, very nice trend. I like the fact that right now Mark Zuckerberg is very much on the helm of this ship, right? Is really steering the company. And given that Mark Zuckerberg has such close relationship with not Elon Musk, with Donald Trump right now, right? He was at the bloody inauguration, right? You're just standing at the back. I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. Okay. Okay, a lot more questions. Guess what? I will go and continue my next segment first, then later we have Q&A, okay? All right. So the next thing is this, it's a bit related to AI. This is another group of stocks, right, that has gone up like crazy recently, like 30, 40%. Some of them even gone up by 60%. Right? Do you know what industry that this is? Okay. And the clue is here. The clue is what are the other parts of the ecosystem? Okay. Right. What enables AI, right? So just now we talk about using the chip, right? We need the data center, so we invest in NVIDIA. We need the companies that produce that, so that's ASML, TSM. Then we have companies that help to set it up, right? Which is Arista Networks and other companies. But ultimately, all these needs what? It needs a lot of power, okay? Unlimited power, okay? Not unlimited, but a lot of power. To give you a sense, right? Data centers that I think Microsoft was running in the desert, right? Okay, was consuming power per day that is equivalent to two small size city. That's how big it is. Okay. All right. And in terms of energy production, right, this is something that I get really excited. Okay. So I seek your pardon when if I'm too excited about it, because this is something that I actually study university. Okay. So I did chemical engineering back in uni days, and I actually did a specialization in nuclear engineering. So this is a topic that I'm very passionate, and I'm so happy that right now, finally, it seems like hey, the nuclear age is finally coming back to us. Okay. So nuclear, if you don't know, is the most reliable energy source. Okay, it's the most reliable because if you talk about renewables, where the weather shines is good lah. Where there's no good weather, then you're dead. Okay, but if you talk about hey, you guys burn some fossil fuel, right? Wow, then what happened? What's the downside of fossil fuel? Carbon, right? Your carbon footprint and whatnot. Okay, but if you look at nuclear plant, this is a nuclear plant, by the way. Okay, what's all these green, yellow, what are yellow? Sorry, white color plumes. These are not carbon dioxide, by the way. These are what? These are water, H2O. Okay, these are water vapor, basically. Okay, so I'm very, very passionate about this whole nuclear energy production, right? It is going to be the most green energy and the most reliable energy. And right now, with the AI trend, right, it is finally getting some attention because AI is sucking so much power that they cannot rely on traditional power source. Okay, right? So you can see that, for example, Amazon has bought some nuclear data centers, right, from Talon, and Microsoft also restarted the 3 Mile Island power plant. Now, Does this name sound familiar? Have you heard of Three Mile Island before? This is actually one of the stations in Three Mile Island actually had a nuclear meltdown before. Okay, had an incident before. Okay, so they are even going to the extent, to restart nuclear power station that was already shut down already. That's how desperate they are, right? So the demand for this area is very big, right? So Meta is also coming up with their own reactor as early as, in the next 5 years, right? And Google actually started, to buy nuclear power, right, to power their AI data centers, right? So they actually ordered some small nuclear, we call it SMR, right? Small modular reactors from California. Okay, so all these are happening already. In fact, Singapore is also taking steps late last year, talking about building nuclear energy capability. But I don't know where they're going to build. Okay, hopefully not on the main island, but it's something that we are definitely looking out for. Okay, so right now in the US, now in countries like Singapore, probably nuclear power is done by government, okay, but in the US, who does nuclear power? Does the government handles it? Do you know that actually more than 80% of the power in the US is actually run by private companies? Private companies, right? It's something that is very hard to imagine in countries like Singapore where the government controls the power, right? In US, actually majority is run by private companies. Okay. And right now, the prominent nuclear energy companies are all these few, right? So the thing is this, going into the next bout, I would say that the is a lot more research to happen. Okay. And Google has this very cool acronym. Google call it the NERD. Okay. Right. NERD stands for Nuclear Energy Research and Development, right? They want to research more into the nuclear energy. Now, the thing is this, when we look at all these companies, right, like Oklo, Vistra. Okay, by the way, Oklo is something quite interesting because it is backed by Sam Altman, which is the OpenAI guy. Okay. I'm not saying this is the good company out there, but when I look at all these six companies, right? Okay, so guys, can you make a guess? When I look at all these six companies, right, what is the common denominator about it? That is like, something that I find standard across all six of them. What is that one thing that makes them all, they are slightly different from each other. Some of them deals with very big energy, big nuclear plant. Some of them deal with small nuclear plant, right? They call it nano, means small, right? Or new scale. New scale is also a small nuclear plant. Raymond says nuclear. Of course, it's nuclear, lah. Okay, but other than that, what is the common factor across the six of them? Okay, and this one has relations to Arista Networks one, right? Is that all six of them have not been very profitable yet. Okay, right? Which is why I want all of you. Yes, right now when you look at a lot of nuclear power stocks, right? Nuclear stocks, it seems to have gone up a lot, but I want y'all to take a chill pill here, okay? And do more nerd, okay? Do more nerd, do more research, right? And that's something that I must confess, even as a nuclear trained engineer, right? I also need more time to research on it, right? So this is definitely something that I want to take time to research more deeply and share with you guys as soon as possible, right? Because I do see the power of this. If there's going to be mass adoption, right? I can tell you in the US, the government is not going to do it, right? So the individual company stands to benefit. But the problem is a lot of them seems to have difficulty achieving profitability, right? That means they may not have a minimum viable product right now. Okay. So I'm going into the weeds already, but long story short is that a lot of them are not profitable, cash flow not healthy yet. Okay. However, a lot of promise because this is my own prediction. This is my own prediction. Going nuclear is not a matter of whether we will, it's just a matter of when. Right? It's not a matter of whether we will start it, it's just a matter of when we will start it. That's my opinion. Okay? All right. So Vincent say need fusion. Okay, fusion is a foregone conclusion. It will not happen right now. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we definitely need more research. So once I have more research done, then I'll share with you guys. I'll definitely put in the stock on spotlight uh column. I think will not be ready for February. Okay, but maybe March. Right. I'll definitely do something else for February. But I'm very excited about this industry because I really think this is going to be the last missing piece, right? Imagine you have all the data centers, you have all the nano chips, you have all the processor ready, right? The processing power is there. Now what you need is real electric power. Okay, real electric power. All right. And in fact, one of the now, while we cannot do nuclear research yet, right? Okay, I got another N stocks for you. That did really well. Okay. Is this right? So 2 days ago, right? I talked about 15 new trades, and one of the new trades, right, is actually this company. Okay. Where I was talking about, hey, tonight got earnings and I'm feeling quite positive. I even draw the chart. I say, hey, the support here is quite nice. The TA is quite good. Okay. And I hope that as many of you in SMG saw it. Okay. Now, those of you who saw it, right, can you type in the chat? What is the stock name? What is the stock name? It's also an N on. Yes, it was Netflix. Okay. So to share with you all quickly what happened to Netflix, why it went up so much, right? Is because the subscriber count went up even after they raised prices. Okay. So coming to the earnings, to be very frank, I knew that it was going to be a good result, but I didn't know that it's going to be that good a result. Okay. So guys, I hope you all see once again, right? Over and over again is a trend of what? Conviction, right? The conviction that, hey, once I studied the business enough, I know the business enough to a point that, I'm basically, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm willing to kind of bet in a way that I think the earnings will be great. Okay. But to be very honest, am I selling Netflix after it go up immediately, given that it's a good business? Okay, so guys, mindset trading, if it's a great business, you bought into it and it go up by 10% because of the good results. Okay, do you sell it immediately? What should you do? What should your investor mindset be thinking about? Right? Is it immediately take profit or what? What should you be thinking about? Type in the chat. What should you be thinking about? Hey, this is especially a test for my SMG subscribers. If you all answer this wrongly, you all need to go and revise. So Amanda says sell some. What else? Take some profit. Hold first. Buy more on pullback. Okay. So very simple, guys. If you ever, like, for example, like me, found a company like Netflix and you have conviction and the earnings is here, and let's say you got it right. Wow, the share price jumped 10% after earnings, right? Your first reaction is not to sell. Okay? Your first reaction could be many things. Number one, after it has jumped up a lot, let's say if you have 100 shares, okay, guys, what can you do? From the options angle, what can you do? Let's say the share price has gone up, bam, like that. Okay? Okay, maybe I go to the Netflix chart to show you. What can you do? Yeah, you can sell call options, okay? Because it's very likely after it jump like that, right? There will be a bit of a pullback temporarily. Okay? Right? You can do a bit of selling call options. Now the question is, hey Pete, if you think that's gonna have a temporary pullback, why don't you sell it off? Very simple. Because I like this business in the long term. So what I want to do here is I want to accumulate. Right? I want to accumulate. So I'm not keen to sell it off, but I don't mind earning a bit of premium here. Right? So I'm going to do a bit of sell call here, right? Maybe I'll sell like maybe 1,000, okay? Right? So that if the price don't go above 1,000 and it drops back down, then great, I will keep the premium here. Ka-ching. Okay? At the same time, ready the rest of your portfolio. Ask yourself, okay, if I'm investing in Netflix, how many percent am I investing? Is it 5? Or is it like 8? Right? So let's say your first investment after this round is like, I only did like 2%. That means you have another 3% to buy, to invest, right? So when the share price eventually come back down to a support, let's say the 20 moving average goes up like this, right? It comes back down, then you should be thinking, okay, now it's time to pull the next trigger, right? I want to buy up maybe to 3%. Then the next time it come back down to support again, okay, I want to buy another 1%, maybe 4%, right? And it happens again, okay, great. I want to get a full up position. I want to do 5%. Okay, right? As simple as that. You can even use the past history of Netflix to do this test, right? For example, you did this correctly, right? You estimated that, wow, this is a good result, right? After you jump, take a chill pill, pause, comes back down, great. Establish your next position. You go back up again, don't do anything. You can sell call if you want to, right? If it come back down, great, establish one. Because you never know when the exponential jump is going to start, right? So along the way, make use of the pullbacks, to accumulate good position, to accumulate shares at a great price. But having said that, caveat is what? You first must have what? Everybody. First, what must you have? Okay? First, what must you have? Cash. No, another C. Yes, the conviction. Okay? Because at the end of the day, we are trying to accumulate more and more shares. But if you're buying into a shitty companies, then that should not be the thing. right? You should not be buying shares of a shitty company, right? So you need to have conviction. You need to know that this is a great business. A great business tends to go up in price, even after the share price comes down like this recently. Right, Netflix had a very, very big dump recently after they shared that there was some difficulty in raising prices and yada yada yada. But guess what? Even with the recent dip, it is still higher than the previous round, which is only last November, October. Right? Okay, so this is what I like about a good business. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. What other questions? Okay, so yeah, right. You can do a sell call. Okay, Geraldine asked, but what if the call share price get called away? Okay, so it really depends on how you play the position, right? You can either own 100 shares to sell call, or technically, you can use a call option to sell call also. Okay, so I don't think I have time to go too deep into it, but basically what you can do is instead of buying 100 shares over here, do you know that one call option is also 100 shares? Hey guys, you all know or not? Do you all know that one call option is 100 shares? Yes, right? Okay, right? So you can technically do what we call a stock replacement. That means instead of buying 100 shares, you buy one call option. Yeah, so it's kind of like a diagonal spread, correct? Okay, but over here, Geraldine, especially those of you in SMG, you notice that I try not to use big words, big names like iron condor, straddle, saddle, diagonal spread, diagonal don't know what. Okay, because it can be a bit confusing, right? So for me, is I like to remember the strategy from the first principle. That means what am I doing? Okay, so technically you can buy a one call option, then over here you do a sell call. Right, it's the same. It's the same as having 100 shares also. Okay, right. So yes, Sneako Tin is correct. In this case, you have two legs. You have one buy call and then you have one sell call on the top. Okay, but I don't want to go too deep into it because it's going to be a bit confusing. Okay, but generally, if the simplest one is you just need to buy 100 shares, you can sell call already. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Sean is asking 100 shares of Netflix of 2%. That means your capital will be 180K. Is that correct? No, it's way more than that. 100 shares, 2%, this is like 90K already. Is it? Okay, but I think what Sean is trying to drive at, right, is that, Pete, does it mean that if you need to do any strategy, you need a lot of capital? Okay. And my answer is no, right? Because you can do it on other stocks, right? You don't have to necessarily do it on Netflix. However, I do encourage people to invest how to say meaningfully, right? Meaningfully. I talked about this in the last session with my SMG students. Maybe I'll repeat this for all of you. Is that I've taught so many students, right? And sometimes when I talk to the students and I also do one-on-one course, right? For those of you from next level, I will have this like revelation, like after I talk to you guys for like a few hours already, like a few calls add together, then I realize, wow, hey, actually, you guys are like, your net worth actually is like quite significant, Okay, you are easily 1 million, 2 million. But when I look at your portfolio, right, what do I see? I see 50K, I see 100K, right? Or I see even less than that, right? And when I ask them, hey, so why do you invest? Then they tell me what? They'll say, Pete, I want to invest because I want to be retired. I want to have passive income. I want to have financially free. I'm like, but it doesn't gel with what you're investing in. Okay. So maybe I do a thought experiment. Hey guys, when you are working, right? If you want to be promoted, you want to get the pay rise, you want to get a higher position, will you focus and do very well, or will you like, hey, let me just dip my toe into the job, give my 10%, give my 20%? Like in the China economy, they have this thing called lie flat, right? Like 躺平, that means you don't do much, you do bare minimum. So guys, if you want to promote and you want to get a higher position, right? Do you lie flat or do you like really put in your 100%? What do you do? Type in the chat. Be very honest, Be very, very honest. Okay? Right? It is not a trick question. It's not a trick question. I'm not trying to tell you that, hey, actually, no, life flat is okay. Right? No, it's because when you put your 100%, you really focus, then you see results. Same as investing. Right? When you put in 50K, when you put in 10K, the truth is this. Even if you 10x your portfolio, 10K, 10x, 100K, 10x, is not an easy thing to do, 10x. But 100K, is it enough to retire or not? No, the answer is no. Okay? But if you invest significantly, you invest like 200K, 300K, right? And you 10x that, 2 million, 3 million. Then that is life-changing money, right? Then that is life-changing money. So the way I look at it is very simple. If you are confident in what you're doing, right? It's like what Charlie Munger said, right? He said, diversification is for people who don't know what they're doing, right? Putting all your eggs in one basket is not scary, so long you look at the basket very carefully. You watch the basket very carefully, right? So if you're playing the stock market, yes, I would say, yeah, just put in like playing money, right? For example, if you go to casino, you will not invest 1 million, okay? It doesn't make sense, right? Maybe you put a few $100, $1,000 a lot already, right? But if you're really investing, just like this is like your full-time job, then if you want to be promoted, so to speak, right? You want to get the pay rise, you want to see the profit, then you need to invest significant of your capital. And the truth is, once your capital gets very large, right, 200K, 300K, then actually the whole stock market, right, opens up. You can invest in different stocks because even if the share price is so-called like a 3-digit, high 3-digit, 4-digit, right, you still can invest. Okay. But with that said, right, for those of you who say, Pete, I really cannot afford a bigger portfolio. I only have 50K, I only have 60K. Guys, this is where option comes in very useful as well. Okay. So the thing is, yes, a lot of people always ask me, hey, Pete, if I have a smaller portfolio, can I start small? Can I invest more? And I always be very encouraging. I say yes, but I always say this, start small, but think big, right? Start small, but think big. Yes, you want to start with 10K, 20K, I won't stop you. But if you have the net worth of like a few $1 million and you say, hey, Pete, I want to really invest and be financially free, then I say, by doing 10, 20K, it will not bring you anywhere. All right. So I hope my honesty doesn't offend you guys. I know sometimes can be a bit abrasive, all right? And I apologize for that, but that is the truth. Okay? That's the truth. In fact, today, every time I receive my salary as a portfolio manager, I will try to put in at least 60 to 65% of it into the portfolio. Right? Then it will start to compound. That means every time I make another 10%, 20%, wow, my salary adds into that again. Okay? All right. So I want to encourage you guys. And really, to me, the hurdle is the first 100K. Once you get past that, right? Wow, the compounding effect is really real, right? Warren Buffett always say, right, compounding is the what? How many eight wonder of the world, right? You don't feel it until you hit 100K. So I encourage everyone here, right, to get to 100. Really, get to 100K, right? You will understand already. Okay? All right. So let me continue. What was I saying? Okay. So Netflix, right? Okay, so talk about Netflix. Okay, so to me, Netflix is right now, I'm not in the business of selling, right? I will sell some call options because it's already kind of like, topping out here. I'll do some sell call here. But once it come back down to a support level, then I'll think about whether I want to add again. Okay? All right. Now, the thing is this, for those of you who say, hey, Pete, really, just now whatever you say makes a lot of sense, but I still want to, start with a smaller portfolio and I want to be able to diversify more. Okay? Then it's call options. Okay, right. I know many of you have very little experience with options, let alone I talk about specific call options. But basically, treat call options as a deposit, right? So just now I talk about Netflix, right? Is either you can buy 100 shares, or you can say, hey, Mr. Stock Market, I don't want to buy 100 shares, but I want to pay a slight deposit for that 100 shares, and that is called a call option, right? That will allow me to buy the shares for like, a certain price for a fixed amount of time, right? And that's what we did. For example, this was the call option that we did. Okay. In fact, this is synthetic, by the way. Okay, but let's just focus on the call option part, right? The AVGO. So AVGO is Broadcom, right? And the strike price is 230. Okay. So over here, if I were to buy 100 shares of Broadcom, okay. So guys, quick options 101. If I want to buy 100 shares of Broadcom, how much money do I have? If I want to buy 100 shares of Broadcom, how much do I have? Yeah, right? It will be 230 lah. Okay, if I take the strike price of 230, okay, it will be 223K, right? 23K. Okay. But in this case, can you see when I buy a call option to kind of reserve the 100 shares, how much money do I pay? How much money do I pay? Yeah, okay, so the answer is here, right? So every time you see a call options premium is in a dollar number, right? Just times 100 to it. Okay, so it's $2,683. Okay, so for Convenience sake, let's just call it 2007. Okay, right? So you can see that upfront, the capital required is already 1:10, right? You only need 1/10 of the capital to start this position. Okay. And as we invest in AVGO, right? Then subsequently, what do we see? We see that the share price starts to increase. In fact, right now, if I look at AVGO, okay, right, the share price is, let's see, 240, 238. Okay, 240, 238, right? Okay. So this was the trade that we did at SMG. I put on the tracker here. Right. Now, guys, I encourage everybody, right, to track your investment. Okay. That means have a trade journal like this. Put down very simple stuff, right? The date you enter the trade, what trade you are doing, what stock you're doing, what price, when's the trade going to expire, right? So the call option is going to last until middle of this year. Okay. And how much premium you pay. Okay. And and then watch your trade. As you exit, then you will know that how much money you make, how much money you lose. Okay? Right? Why do you want to track your trade is because, and why do I do it in Stock Market Genius, right? Is so that I can go back and have a look and say, okay, did I do something wrong or not? If I lose money. Okay? Or if I make money, right, I ask myself, hey, what was that thing that I did right? Right? Was it that I bought it at the correct price? Was my mindset correct? Did I add to it when I love it? Or did I sell it because it's shit? Right? Right? Part of my language, right? But analyze your past trades, right, will help you to enhance your future profits. Okay, your future profits relies all on your past trades. Every time you do a trade, regardless it did well or not, if you track it, you can learn from it. Okay, the feedback is very important here, right? And that's what I want to achieve here in Stock Market Genius, is to create that feedback loop, right? So as AVGO increase in price, okay, so guys, what will you expect? You will expect the share price to go up, right? So you also make money, okay, and the premium to go up. Okay, so let's calculate. If the share price go up from 230 to 239, so if I pay 23K, how much profit did I make? Okay, so guys, test you all here. How much profit did I make? If I bought it at 230, now the share price is 239. Yeah, I make $900. Okay, $900. For my option, what's the premium now? 26.83, right? What's the current premium? You can see here, okay, the current premium is here. Okay. 34.82, right? So overall, how much money did I make? Technically, how much money did I make? So let's calculate. So 34.82 minus 26.83. I make how much? 799. Oh, okay. So it's a bit lower than this. Okay. Hey, but guys, can I ask you, in this way, which is a better trade? Which is a better trade? Do you buy shares or buy call? Type in the chat. Do you buy shares or buy call? BS or BC? BS. BS sounds like okay. Right. Okay. Yes, BC. Why? Because the ROI is better. Number one. Yes. Right. Although I make $700, but remember my initial capital is how much? It's only 2,700 here. Right. So my ROI is close to 70%. That's number one. Number two is what? Actually, do you realize that your downside risk is also lower? Right? If the share price really tank, what is the most you can lose? Most 2,700 exactly, right? But if AVGO crash, okay, I touch wood okay. But if really crash, you stand to lose this amount 23K. Okay, so that's why I love options. If you know how to use it, right, it's actually very beneficial. Right? Okay. But over here, one thing I want to highlight is that I'm doing a relatively short-term call option here. And the reason is because what's the reason? My SMG members, what's the reason? Usually we buy call option, how long do we want to buy? We want to buy 1 year at least, right? Okay. But in this case, why am I doing just half a year? Why? Why am I breaking my own rule? Yeah, right. Joe got it because we are doing a synthetic, right? And synthetic is because I am selling a put option here, right? So you can see over here when I sell a put option. Okay, let me erase everything first. I'll get a bit messy, right? Okay, when I sell a put option here, I'm collecting premium from selling the put. I'm collecting $22. Then when I buy a call option, I paid $26. So effectively, I'm only paying how much? I'm only paying about $4 plus, right? Approximately. So that further reduces my risk. Okay. that further reduces my risk, right? And can you see that actually my sell put price is actually lower than my buy call, right? So that means my risk is even lower lah. Okay, right? So what is my favorite strategy? I think no need to guess already. It is definitely synthetic. I'm basically using the sell put premium, okay, to pay for the buy call, okay. But once again, what is the very key criteria before I even implement this strategy? Start with C. Okay, yes, your conviction. Because when you sell put, what are you doing? You are promising to buy the shares. Okay. So at that point in time during the November period, right, for AVGO, basically I was pretty where is it? Let me just see again. Okay. Or January, sorry, January. Right? January, right? I was pretty happy to buy AVGO because it was around here. Okay. And I like the support. The support level is good, everything is good, right? So I entered a position. I could have just sell put option, to be very honest, right? I could just sell put and say, hey, I want to buy this stock at maybe 220, right? And what I can do is I can collect the premium. Or what can you do? What is synthetic? Basically is I take the premium instead of keeping it in my pocket, I take it to buy a call option. So technically, I didn't pay much for the call option. The call option is paid by the sell put, right? And this is my favorite strategy. Why? Because if you already want to buy the shares, then all you are doing is you are just leveraging on the premium, which is technically not your money. Okay? Which is technically not your money. The worst thing that can happen is what? What is the worst thing that can happen to a synthetic? Guys, can you type in the chat? What is the worst thing that can happen to a synthetic? Let's say I put sell put at 220. What is the worst thing that happened to me? I just buy the shares. Okay. Okay. PSA eat the shares. Wow, eat the shares. Eat the shares sounds very bad. Okay. Just buy the shares. And guess what? That was the initial premise, right? I already wanted to buy AVGO shares at 220. I think it's a good price. Okay. So this is my favorite strategy. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. And why I like synthetic, right, is because your initial outlay is so little, right? Sometimes in hundreds of dollars, maybe 1,000, right? That's where when the share price goes up, right, it exponentially jump, right? So for example, we did synthetic on Lulu. Right? They call it risk reversal when the stock price is not the same, okay? Right? Synthetic is when the price is exactly the same, okay? Right? For Lulu, what jump to like 10K, right? TSM, right? Jump to like 9K. Now, guys, can I ask you, why is synthetic? Okay, so this is like to answer all of your questions about synthetic, because a lot of you who are not in SMG, you are asking, hey, Pete, what is this synthetic you're talking about, right? Why do you like it so much? And why do you keep talking about it in SMG? Okay, so I want to explain here. Why is synthetic have outsized return on share price movement? Why? Think about it, think about it. Why? Because remember, when I sell put, if the share price goes up, okay, where's share price? Share price goes up. What happened to the sell put? The sell put premium will drop, right? So I will make money at my sell put. At the same time, when I buy call, if the share price goes up, my buy call also make money. That's why it is a double bullish strategy. Okay? Both sides are bullish, exactly like what Edmund says, right? Both sides are bullish. That's why if you are very confident, once again, conviction, you have high conviction, you know your TA, you look at the TA, it's like, wow, this is a very good TA because, when you look back, right, wow, this is such a nice support, right, when we were there, you have high conviction on your stock, you are confident about your TA, then do you just want to do one bullish strategy or a double bullish strategy? Okay. So it is like what Charlie Munger said, right? It is okay to put all your eggs in one basket so long you watch the basket very carefully. Yeah, it's like a double shot espresso. Okay. Like what Pierre is saying, like a double shot espresso. All right. So this is the main strategy that I want to share with you guys, all right, about synthetic. But of course, there are a lot more about synthetic to go through. It's a two option strategy, so it's a bit more complicated. Okay. All right. And for those of you who want to learn more, there's a better teacher. And the better teacher is the 1 year ago me. Okay. So basically I did a very detailed breakdown of this strategy. Okay. And you can actually find it in the platform. Right. So for those of you who want, actually, I think you all can go and take a look here. Right. You can watch the synthetic long video. Right. and it also comes with the necessary notes as well. Okay, right. So this 8-minute video will be enough. 8 minutes, you will fully understand exactly what synthetic is and how it works, what are the risks involved, right? When should you cut loss, or when should you take profit, or when should you stop the trade? Okay, all right. Now, to I remember Brenda's question, right? Yeah? To answer Brenda's question, why am I willing to do so short term, right? It's because very simple, right? The short term is only detrimental to the buy call, right? Yes, indeed. When it's very near to expiry date, the buy call will expire very fast. But guys, did I pay for the buy call or not? Did I pay for the buy call premium? Yes or no? The buy call premium paid by who? Paid by who? The sell put, right? So technically, it doesn't affect me, right? So while the buy call premium decays fast, guess what? Another premium also decay very fast. The sell put premium also decay very, very fast. Okay. So for those of you who want to, you can go to the platform, just click on under option strategy we use in SMG, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will form your basic knowledge for options. Okay. And there's one dedicated to synthetic law. All right. Okay. Okay. Any more questions? Let's see. Okay. Brenda says, will it not go into negative, the buy call? No. Okay. No, the buy call will never go to negative. So let's come back here. Okay, so over here, for example, I paid for the buy call for $26.83. That is the risk I have. The buy call cannot go negative one. The lowest it can go is what? Everybody can type in the chat. What is the lowest it can go? Zero. Okay, right? It will expire worthless, right? But guess what? I didn't pay $26. I only paid $4. So my risk is a lot more reduced. Okay, all right, fantastic. Okay, any questions? So Valerie asked, when will you typically close a synthetic? No hard and fast rule. I would say I will look at the TA, right? For example, for AVGO, I will want to wait a bit more to wait for the price to hit the resistance. Then I'll think about selling, right? So I usually exit on the TA rather than anything. Okay, so I don't have a hard percentage, to be very honest. I will exit on the TA. Because sometimes if the TA is good, then I want to let it run some more, right? I don't want to stop the trade, right? So I always say, right, trim the weeds, but let your flower grow, right? Don't trim the flowers. Okay. All right. Yeah, so Amanda asked, is risk reversal the same as synthetic? Yes, it's the same thing. It's just that when you are doing one strike price is considered as synthetic. When you are doing let's say a lower sell put but a higher buy call, then this is called risk reversal. For their nomenclature, that is what they say. But that's why I once again I always say I don't focus on the naming of it, right? I don't care whether is it synthetic or risk reversal. To me, it's very simple. I'm selling put to buy call. That's it. Okay. All right. Okay. Sneeko is asking, is there a bearish synthetic strategy? There is, right? You just flip it around, but I don't do it. Generally, I don't like to short the market. I don't like to be bearish because it doesn't go well most of the time. Okay. This one is all about investor training. Know yourself as an investor. It's very important, guys. You must know yourself as an investor, right? If you don't know yourself as an investor, then you'll be investing in the dark. For example, when I invest, I realize one trend is that I'm very good at the bullish stuff, but I absolutely eat the dirt when I try the bearish stuff. Okay, right? So you must know what you're good at, what you're bad at. Then, okay, so this one, my mom always say, last time when I say, boy, when you're bad at maths, you must focus on maths. Okay, so when you're young, yes. When you're bad at something, try to be good at something, right? That's a very normal thing to say. But guys, when you are at an older age like me, right, I want to give you all a very controversial thought. Okay, is that focus on what you're good at and what you're bad at. If you can outsource it, get someone else to do it. If you cannot outsource it, just ignore it. Okay, you are too old to learn new things already. Okay, right? If you're at my age already, you want to try new things that can potentially burn your portfolio, right? Don't. Okay, don't. Right? So, no disrespect to my mom, but right now, last time, yes, when you're very young, yes, right, to your children, tell them to improve on their education, improve on maths, improve on science, right? Then you can be a nuclear engineer like me. But otherwise, when you are in your late 30s, in your 40s and 50s, guess what? Focus on what you're strong at, what you're good at, and then you outsource what you're not so good at, right? Some of the students who join SMG, right, they tell me, hey Pete, because I always ask students, hey, why do you join SMG? What was the reason? And some of them say, oh Pete, I joined SMG because I wasn't very good at researching companies, right? So they say, oh Pete, I just want to tap on your knowledge. That is outsourcing, okay, right? That is outsourcing also, right? But there are certain parts of investing that I feel that everybody can learn as well, right? So when you come to SMG, right, please don't just outsource everything to me, okay? Learn as well, learn how to invest. FA is not difficult. TA is not difficult. Okay. The research part, yes, if you want to look on the stock on spotlight for me to help you do the research, I think that's fine, right? I help you to get a base first. Then from there you continue. That's fine. Okay. All right. So yeah. So that's why I don't short the market because I absolutely don't do well in it. Okay. All right. NK has a very long question. Let me read. When a long-term call option starts to drop below 365, can I confirm that we should be looking at closing it? Da, 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 da. Because time decay will be exponential into your potential profit faster than the share price can run. Um, Not really, not really. Okay, so to answer NK's question, right, is that basically he's asking when the call option, if I just buy a one call option, is very near expiration date, should I close it like maybe 1 year before it expires? And my answer is no. Okay, firstly, I do enter call option with 1 year left, right? So if I close it with 1 year left, then what? I open tonight, close tomorrow night, right? Doesn't make sense. But the actual reply will be, I have actually held call options until expiry before, right? And the reason is very simple. When I hold call option, I hold it with the idea of I want to reserve the 100 shares and I want to see how far the share price can go with that 1 year. Yeah. So I've held call options until the expiration date before. And sometimes, even at the last 3 months, right? Wow, the share price just run. Then I get a lot of intrinsic value. So yes, my extrinsic value, the time value is dropping, but my extrinsic value went up so much. Especially if there's an earnings date coming, I would love to keep my options across the earnings date. Okay. So my answer to NK is no. I actually don't cut my call options too early. But if you want a more standard number, I would say if I still don't see any movement with like 3 to 4 months left, and I don't think there's going to be a big impact with the last 3 months, then yeah, I will close it. But otherwise, if it's a great business, actually what I will do is I don't really close. What I do is I establish more call positions, right? Because let's say I do one here, this 1 year, right? The other one I do one here, then there's another 1 year, then there's another 1 year, then there's another 1 year, right? So technically, I'm always having call options. I don't need to close. Okay, right? So that's the power of diversifying in terms of having multiple trades. And that's why if you have a big portfolio, right, very beneficial. Okay, right? You will be able to enter a large position. You don't have to just do one call option or two. You can enter 5, 6, 7. Okay, right? Okay, Pinhu asks, hi Pete, if the share price is higher than the buy call strike price approaching expiration date, will the broker exercise for me? No, the broker will actually just like give you the price difference. They will technically buy the shares for you, but they will also like give you the profit. Yeah, so that's the thing. Okay. Geraldine asked, do you set stop loss? I don't. If it's a great business, I don't. If it's a trade, yes, I do. But if it's an investment, great business, I don't set stop loss. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. Any other thing? Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the irresponsibly long thing that I mentioned. Okay, so for those of you not in SMG, might find, hey, what is this irresponsibly long? Okay, right. Can my SMG members give them a hint what it is? Hey, MSDR is the super irresponsibly long The normal one is what? IB Okay, so I was just telling them about Bitcoin. Okay, so basically, I personally have a high conviction on Bitcoin, right? So there was this thing about Bitcoin that you can potentially like kind of leverage on if you are long, right? Why? Because right now the Bitcoin premium is very very high, right? But before I go into this, right, I just want to put a caveat is that this is a irresponsible trade. You should not follow, but I promise you all I will share 100%, right, in SMG. Okay. So I want to give those of you who are not in SMG a quick sneak peek, right? Is that I want to share 100%. So whatever I do, I will share. Even if I think you all should not do it, right? They always say things at home, right? They always say what they say. They say, this is done with professional or stuntman. Please do not try this at home. Yeah. So please do not try this at home. But if you try it at your own risk, okay. So why I like to do it, number one is once again conviction. I have very high conviction on Bitcoin. Okay, right. So IBIT is a Bitcoin option. I'm sorry, Bitcoin ETF, right? So it's a Bitcoin trust, right? I already hold IBIT. So what I can do is I can sell call options on IBIT. Okay. So guys, generally when you sell call options, okay, for those of you who are not in SMG or whatever, what is the usual percentage premium per month? Usually, if you sell a call option, what is the percentage premium? Yeah, it's probably about 2% or maybe even less. Okay. But let's say if I look at 21 Feb, that is 29 days. Can you see that? Okay. And let's say I buy IB at 59.38. Okay. But I don't want to sell away my share so easily, right? Because I want to make some money, right? I want to let the share price increase first. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just add a 10%. So maybe I will say I'll sell call at 65. Okay. Right. And you can see over here, I'm netting $216. Can you see that? Okay. So the position is here, 2.16. Right. And I paid 59.38 for the share price. So technically, guys, what is my ROI here? What's my ROI here? 2.16. I divide by 59 is 3.6%. 3.6% in a month when I'm demanding a 10% increase in price. So to me, I really like this. There is no downside, right? The downside is what? The downside is that the share price go up to 65, then I sell the share. I make 10% in a month, plus the 3.6%. That's the downside. Okay. But of course, there's a real downside. If Bitcoin crashes all the way, right, then of course I lose my $59. Okay. But to me, I don't see that as a risk because I don't see that happening and I'm willing to take that risk. Okay. So right now, this is what I've been doing, right, to generate huge premium. But I feel that is a very risky trade for those of you who don't have conviction in Bitcoin or you don't understand Bitcoin. Okay. But this is the potential that I want to share with you in the options world. Everything can do options, right? Okay. In fact, I'm shifting a lot of my Bitcoin allocation, right, to Bitcoin ETF. Why? Because my Bitcoin holding in the exchanges, right, cannot generate options premium. But when I use that to buy Bitcoin ETF, I can generate Bitcoin premium. Okay. So guys, those of you who are in SMG who saw this trade earlier on, right? There were some questions in the community I answered already. But if you have any other question, I just want to really take this time to reply you guys, right? To make sure that everything is answered because this is a more risky trade, right? So once again, don't try this at home, okay? Okay, all right. Okay, Kim says, can you sell call on an existing buy call? You mean for IBIT? Can. In fact, not IBIT also can. Not IBIT also can. Yeah, right. Okay, let's see. Okay, John's asking, any take on Apple? Apple, let's see. AAPL. I think it's been dropping recently, right? Ooh, wow. I still thought that it was at 100 EMA, to be very honest. Now it's at 200 already. Okay, so guys, what do you feel? How do you feel? Maybe before I share my take, right? How do you all feel? Type in the chat. How do you all feel about Apple? Right? How do you all feel about Apple? Okay, right? So maybe as a demonstration, the first thing to do, right, when you see a share price drop, right, okay, is to go and look at the financials first. Okay, look at the fundamentals first. Right? Ask yourself, okay, this company is been growing, but okay, of course, start of the year usually is a better year for them. So last quarter is not so bad, right? And you can see that repeating every time, start of the year, right? Wow, first quarter, a lot of people buy things, right? Okay, right? So overall, if you look at yearly, okay, it's a company that is constantly growing the revenue, but the revenue growth is a bit slower, a bit slower, right? But if you look at cash flow, right? Okay, let's take a look at cash flow. Cash flow is significantly better, right? It's still about 6-7%. Okay. So one thing to take note is that as a company gets very, very big, right? Don't expect them to grow like little kids. Okay. So when you're past puberty, hey guys, you grow the fastest at puberty, but after puberty can grow. Okay. Can, but slower. Okay. So that's what is happening right now for them. But overall, I still love the business. Why? Because very easy. Free cash flow margin at 20%. 27, sorry. Wow. So this company, right, is constantly printing cash. Constantly. Okay? Constantly. right? And you look at the P ratio, it's not outrageous now. It's like 37, right? Um, price to cash flow is about 28. So actually, if you look at it, right, I find that actually a lot of people misunderstood Apple. Apple is actually cheaper than you think because when you measure it across to cash flow, it's actually cheaper than earnings. It means what? It means they have a lot of cash. Because earning doesn't take into the account of cash, but cash flow does, right? So it's 28 times cash, right? If you take EV/EBIT, which is another indicator that I like, it's 27, right? This is a great business. This is a business where the ROE is at 3 digit. The ROE is 21%. The ROIC is 42%, you know. What kind of number is this? This is bananas, eh. This is like crazy, right? So a lot of people kept telling me, wow, Apple very expensive, Apple very expensive. I can tell you, I was in another investing community about 1, 2 years back, right? And they keep telling me, P, Apple overvalue, Apple overvalue. Okay, so they have been talking about Apple overvalue for like, I don't know, years. But guess what? Apple just keep getting more and more overvalued. Because the simple truth is this, even as the PE ratio stays the same. Okay, it stays the same, but the E keep going up. For the ratio to stay the same, the P must also go up, right? That's why even when 2023, right, we look here, 2023, the P ratio was already at 27, right? But guess what? It's still going up, what? Right? So to me, no difference. To me, no difference, right? So overall, I like the business a lot. In fact, if you ask me, right now, Apple is one of the few companies that is truly vertically integrated. Truly, from the design of the chip to creating the chip to using the chip in the phone and creating software for the chip. Not even close, for anyone else to come in. Maybe Samsung, but we all know that Samsung chip is not as fast as the Apple chip right now with all the M3, M4 chip, right? So yeah, okay. So I still like the business. I think Apple is a great business still. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Qing asked about MVO. Let's look at MVO. Okay, so do you know MVO? MVO is basically the drug company. So once again, it's about conviction, right? Boom, look at Apple. Okay. So I tell you guys, actually it's very good that you are in a good community like this. Whenever got people very scared the share price drop, right? Actually, you take a look and say, wow, hey, actually is there opportunity, okay? Right? So very simple. Do you know why MVO share price dropped? Because they had a bad announcement, right? They had a their drug. I think it's a lose weight drug, okay, but the weight loss drug was not as much as they expected. Something like that. I cannot remember where is it really. Let me see. Yeah, you're going to find but I cannot find it now. Okay, but basically, the weight loss drug they wanted to lose, I think the target was like 28% weight loss. They achieved like 24%. Ayo, wow, so bad, They cannot achieve 28% and 24%. Hey guys, how many of you all there are trying to lose weight? Me, I also, I'm a bit like, as you're getting older, gain a bit of weight, right? If I can lose 24% of my weight by taking one drug, versus 28, I will buy more. Okay. So to me, it's not a problem. I really feel it's not a problem. Okay. So once again, go back to fundamentals. Look at Novo Nordisk, right? Look at the income, look at the revenue. Okay. Wow, the revenue grow very fast. Accelerating. Okay. Even if I go quarterly, it should be accelerating. Yeah. Okay. Right. 20+%. Better than Apple. Okay. Income growth. Wow. Also very good. Right. I go back to yearly first, because I want to see yearly results. Okay. Income. Can you see income? Wow. It used to be only like 40 B. Now it's 94 B. In fact, do you know that Novo Nordisk is one of the largest company in Europe? Right? The whole Danish stock market, I think, is like majority Novo Nordisk, if I'm not wrong. Okay? Cash flow. Yeah. Yes, it does fluctuate in terms of up and down, but generally going up. Okay? Right? Okay? Generally going up, right? Then, okay, let's look at ratios. PE, 25. Wow. Sounds cheap, Operating cash flow, 20. Wow. EV/EBIT even cheaper, 19. Wow. That's all I'll say. Okay? I cannot tell you to buy or sell, but over here, like what I always do in stock market genius, right? Train your mindset. Okay. Trade on mindset. Mindset very, very important. Okay. All right. Hey, wow, almost to be 11 o'clock already. Okay. All right. Great, great. Okay. Any last minute question? Any more last minute question before we go? Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, got one question. Pete, I missed the last SMG discount. Okay. Okay. Guys, how many of y'all previously missed the SMG what was that? The 11/11 discount. Those miss one, raise your hand. Type in me. Okay. Okay. Actually, right, I have one. That I want to do for next week one for Chinese New Year. Okay, but since you all asked, okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, give me a moment. Give me a moment. Okay, any more questions? Okay, let me bring up this one first. Okay. Okay. I have it here. All right. Okay, so this one stay within this chat first. At first, I want to release it for Chinese New Year one. Okay, but since you all asked, okay. Okay, can. All right. So right now, SMG, okay, Stock Market Genius is at 699 per year. Okay. I think this price is pretty decent because it works out to be about less than $2 a day. Right. So I think if you are serious enough investor, I think this is a very decent price. I try to keep it a balance between allowing it to be a profitable business for myself and my analysts. Okay, I got two guys now that I'm working with, okay, to help me do all the research. Plus, I want to deliver good value to you guys. So I think this is a reasonable price, right, for a year. Okay. But actually, my CNY discount is this. Okay. So the link is over here, rebrand.ly/ stock market genius. Okay. And the promo code is what188. Okay. I'm trying to do like those ang pao money. Okay. So right now, if you use this promo code what188, right, you will get $188 off. Okay. So the link is here, rebrand.ly/ stock market genius. Okay. Oh, Qinlin is over here. Hey guys, for those of you who are actually my subscriber already, right? Y'all can post your link here, no? Your referral link. Okay, because not only they get this discount, plus you get a referral. Okay, so yeah. See, all of you can go and post. Okay, so up to you lah. You want to use the referral code, or you want to use this also can. Okay, it's pretty much up to you. All right. So right now it's at 699. So if you go to your promo code, then you will see this one convert down to -188 lah. Okay. All right. Okay. One person say can demo. No? Okay, that I show you. Okay, let's see. HTTP. Oh, yeah, no need HTTP lah. Okay. Okay. Okay, the main link is here, but if you want, you can use the promo code of the SMG community. Okay. I love to reward members who refer anyway. Okay. All right. So if we go to the Stock Market Genius. Okay, so this is the website. Okay, so some of you had issues with that promo code previously, right? So I just run through this. If you click on the Stock Market Genius, okay, right? Oh, is it loading? Goodness. Okay. So you can see the checkout page here, right? There's a coupon code. Can you see that? Okay. There's a coupon. Oh, the coupon code disappeared. Where is it? Here. Okay. So you key in what 188. Okay. Hey, for those of you who are not from Singapore, I know I have international audience as well. What in Singapore in Mandarin is like prosperous, okay? Because Chinese New Year is coming, so you want to be prosperous, okay? So you put in what 188, okay? You click apply. All right, then you will see the discount here. Okay, so please make sure you key in the promo code before you click checkout. Okay. Okay, I have students who check out already, then they say, AP, I forgot to key in promo code. Then I do the refund and everything. Okay, so remember to key in your promo code what188. Okay, so this one, just keep it to yourself first. I wanted to launch this to the whole public during the CNY period. Okay, but since you all asked, then I'm just showing you all now. Okay, but otherwise, you can see that a lot of our members are really benefiting from the community, right? So you can use their promo code also, right? So depend on who is your friend, okay? Who is your friend that you like, Okay? All right, fantastic. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions? I think Celine asked about Adobe, right? Okay, let's do Adobe. Hey, how many of you are invested in Adobe? Da, 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 da. Okay, wow. The Adobe drop some more. Can't remember. Let's see. Actually, no, it kind of stabilized already. Let's see. Let's see the moving average. Oh, okay. Okay. So in this case, right, for Adobe, when this kind of moving average, right, very simple. You look back at the past. You look back at the past. Okay. So TA is about understanding behavior. Behavior, right? So for example, if you have a friend that is tends to be a bit more violent, then the next time something happens, you expect the friend to be violent again, right? Same for the stocks. If you have a stock that's a bit more violent, okay, that's a very poor analogy now. Okay, but anyway, if you have a stock that tends to move a lot, then the next time something happens like this, you know that you'll react in a certain way. Okay. So for example, if it drops like this, right? The last time you see that it gets rejected at the 200 moving average, right? It will drop some more. Okay. So right now, what I'll do is I'll wait for it to come to the 200 moving average. What I want to see is I want to see it break through the 200. Then it's a nice support. Otherwise, if it drops some more, then dun, 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 then then it will drop some more. Okay. So this is the TA part for you. Okay. All right. Okay, Pinhu is asking, can you share the SMG stock Excel? Okay, so for those of you who are in the SMG, if you want the stock Excel spreadsheet, right, very simple. You just click make a copy. Okay, some of you request for editing rights. I cannot do that because if I let you do that, then the whole spreadsheet, everyone editing, everyone will go crazy. So you can actually click on what's that? Make a copy. Then you can edit your own copy from there. Okay, good job. Okay. Okay, Tim is asking with Canva and TikTok, will Adobe still be profitable in my opinion? I think it's very hard to tell. I would say I'm not in the industry of graphic design, as you can see from my PowerPoint slides. Okay, so I think it's very hard to tell. But I do think that a lot of the professionals are still using Adobe. Yeah, a lot of professionals are still using Adobe. Okay, right. So I don't think it's a big problem there. Okay. Pete, can you share the link again? Okay, wait. The SMG link. Okay, wait. Where is it? Okay, this is the promo. This is the QR code. You can scan this one. Actually, it's easier. If you're on a computer, you can scan the QR code. Okay. If not, the link is here. Let me click the link. Okay, the link is here. All right. Then the promo code is here. Is what 188. Dun, 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 what 188. Okay. All right. Okay. WL Sim, hi Pete. If our portfolio is very small, around 20K, would joining SMG help? I think it depends on your objective. If you are starting with 20K, but you're saying, hey Pete, I will never add money to that already now. I think that 20K is about the max I will invest, right? Then I would say maybe SMG can help, but to a limited extent. Because if you join SMG, right, you guess what I'll do? I will always encourage you to add money to your portfolio one, okay? So you'll be very irritated by me now. Because a lot of times I will tell people, hey, if you buy one call option, if the price drops some more, right, you will see your buy call lose a bit of money. But what should you do? Right? I always say, what should you do? And the correct answer is if it's a great business, add more. Okay. So if that's all you have for your portfolio, maybe a bit challenging, right? Like I said, 20K, you want to turn it into 2 million is very, very, very tough. But if you say, hey, Pete, I'm starting with 20K, but every month I'm still working, I'm still adding money to my portfolio, right? Then I'll say, yes, definitely. Because while you're starting with 20K, but guess what? Your end goal, your eventual portfolio, even if the portfolio don't grow, just by you adding more money, can easily be a 6 digit, right? Can easily be a 6 digit. Okay? Right. So Chin say it will still help because I'm doing trade on my son's trading account with around 10K. Yeah, you can do that as well. Okay. The main thing is, like what Chin is saying, you can trade with a 10K portfolio, but I always encourage people to add more because if you know that your portfolio is doing well, you are seeing some results already, then you want to put more wood to the fire for sure. Okay. All right. Hey, so WL, if you sign up, you should use Chinese code. Okay. She give you encouragement. Very good. Okay. You should use Chinese code. Okay. Kelvin's asking, can take a look at what is that? Celsius. Oh, wow. I haven't heard about this company in a while. Mm, Celsius is the sell drinks one, right? Don't like. I don't like F&B in general, to be very honest. Right? I don't like F&B in general. Okay. YL is asking about Nvidia. I think Nvidia is still gonna be like the biggest player in terms of graphics, GPU. Of course, it really depends on whether some other producer, like I think Intel is very far behind them. So maybe if Apple or even like AMD come with something better, but I think it's not going to be a winner take all world. I think it's still going to be divided across. So I think the future for Nvidia is still there, right? With more and more AI adoption, more data centers means more demand for chips. Yeah. So that's just a general take. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah. Yeah, so Hasif also started with 20K, but yes, he's absolutely right. Be cautious with your cash balance because if you're doing synthetic, then you need a bigger portfolio eventually. That's for sure. Okay, but you're just doing call options outright, then I think it's fine. Okay, you're doing call options, then I think it's okay. All right. Okay. Maybe last question now before we go. YS is asking, just graduated, only started working recently. Oh, congrats. Wow. I wish I can go back to your age. I just graduated. So nice, man. Right. Then I'll do a lot of things very differently. Yeah. Right. I will do a lot of things very differently. Okay. YS, I give you. Okay. So those of you who already heard me say this before, maybe that's the end of the live stream for you. Okay. But for YS, right? For those of you out there who are youngsters, you just graduate, right? One thing I want you to remember is this: the youth is on your side. Time is on your side. I wish I can go back to the time where I just graduated, right? There's so many things I'll do differently. Okay. So, like what he asked, can you share some tips and tricks for new investors? Okay. So, number one is I will read less mainstream news. Okay. I will not read news at all if I can. I'll just read press release from companies. I'll read maybe news from prominent investors that I trust, right? Maybe like, Jeremy Grantham, maybe Warren Buffett, or, Charlie Munger died already, so cannot hear from him. Okay, but you can read books also about these kind of good investors from the past that has died already. Okay, right? So I'll read those that has been there, done that in terms of investing, rather than listen to CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, Bloomberg, right? All the newscasters. I can tell you, I always like talk shit about them. I always say if they are so successful and so wealthy, right, they won't be talking about stocks on TV, right? They will just be investing. As simple as that. Okay. Right. So number one, ignore mainstream news, look for a reliable source of news. Number two, okay, save up as much as you can. When you are young, you have no liabilities, you have no kids. Okay, I'm not saying my kids are liabilities, but you have no house, you have no car, you have no expenses. Save 99.999%, put into the portfolio. Okay, then start with stocks that easy to research one, right? Don't look for stock. Okay, for example, I talk about Arista Networks, right? It takes a bit more effort to research because it's not a common stock. It's not a common stock, right? But you will get better, right? Initially, when I first started investing, I wasn't very good at research. So I researched very easy to research company. I researched Apple, Microsoft, right? Right. Back then I researched ExxonMobil, I still remember that, right? Intel, right? And you just start to have a sense that, okay, what makes a great business, right? Good earnings, increasing revenue, increasing cash flow. Very simple stuff, okay? Right? His last point about position sizing, this is where I differ from the general public. To me, if you are starting off with a small portfolio, 5K, 10K, no need to position size. What is position size? You only have 5K, you want to position size some more. How many stocks you want to buy? You want to buy what? 10 stocks. Then each stock is how much money? Don't position size. Straight away do what is right. Build high conviction and invest more. Of course, there is a difference between investing in high conviction and gambling. Okay? Know the difference. Don't buy those meme stock and then tell me you have high conviction. But if you have researched a company very deeply, you can tell me the CEO's investment, what the CEO said 6 months ago, whether he's given all the track record and stuff like that. That is conviction. Okay? So to me, if you have a small portfolio, anything like sub 10, no need to position size. What you are good at investing, you research, you think this is solid, you can invest a bit more. Why? Because next month your paycheck come in, your portfolio increase again. Okay, so I hope this one works for you, lah. Okay, fantastic. Okay, let's see. PSA repeat. Thank you very much. Okay, all right. Hey, so once again, those of you who are not in my Telegram group, do join my Telegram. Right, that's where I post all my latest stuff, lah. Okay, all right. If not, once again, this is where is it? Okay. Right. If not, over here, reblend.ly/stock market genius. The promo code here is what 188. You get $188 off. Okay. So for those of you who want to join Stock Market Genius, have access to me on the weekly live stream, also on the live trade that we do, the tracker that we do. Okay. And also the stock spotlight, my top research ideas. Okay. So this is where you will get access to all this at a very, very, very low price, to be very honest. Right. When I check out my US counterparts, because recently I met up with some of the US content creator, US investors. Wow, they are charging so much more. But I think in US it's a much more mature market, right? So it's very different. Okay, so I think over here, less than $2 a day, this is something that I find quite attractive. It's very catchy. You tell people, you can invest in yourself, achieve good results with less than $2 a day. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's all I have to share. I don't think I'll be doing a live stream next week because I think it'll be a very busy week for me because of Chinese New Year. Okay, so over here I want to wish everybody Happy Chinese New Year, 新年快乐. Okay, 恭喜发财. I wish everybody a smooth year ahead, right? And be really prosperous. Let's have our portfolio reach all time high. Okay, all right. 新年快乐，花的. See you guys.